Welcome to the NEC in Birmingham. This is the National Cycling Show. So I have to admit, I didn't even think was going on until someone invited me down to watch them speak. I think we're going to get along really well. So anyway, we're here. The Vielo exhibitors doesn't look that exciting, but I'm hoping to find some more innovative, small-scale brands doing some interesting things. And if we do, we'll show you in the video. Let's see what happens. We're here at the Vielo stand with Ian. And Ian, I've just been admiring these bikes that you make here. So you're a drop bar brand, gravel and road, and famously one by only.
Yep.
No two by in your range at all.
No.
What made you make that decision?
Kind of back in 2016, we saw a lot of group set manufacturers were going wider cassette range, and we could calculate fairly quickly that the need for a 2x frame was not required. You could cover all the gear ratios you wanted with a 1x group set for a compact, semi-compact over 12 speed.
Yep.
So we wanted to engineer the whole frame purely around 1x.
And that comes with loads of advantages, as I've talked about on the channel before. The big one, obviously, bottom bracket type area. So all of your bottom brackets press fit?
Yes.
Excellent. And chain stays? Nice and short.
Chainstay 435, I seem to remember off the top of my head.
And that's with a 50mm tyre in there.
Yeah, again, for the gravel bike, for V+1, we wanted to offer a really wide tyre. So again, 2016, we thought, right, we want to engineer this for up to a 50mm tyre and not have to go to drop chainstay.
Yep.
So there it is, that can be done. 700C, 50mm tyre, parallel stays, everything's parallel. And it all works.
It looks great because it doesn't look like you've had to do anything unusual to squeeze it all in.
No.
It doesn't look over-engineered.
No.
One thing I love about your bikes is the attention to detail. I think we're going to get along really well. So talk us through some of it, starting with this amazing headset. It's made by Token, but it looks so clean.
Yeah.
How have you achieved this?
We wanted to provide a fully integrated cockpit and frame set without any cable port. And we were kind of looking at wireless shifting, so obviously for SRAM. And then how can we run the brake hoses through the frame and out without having to go to oversized inch and a half. We still wanted to keep this nice and waisted.
So just to show the camera here, like how still keeping the tapered head tube. Yep. And what's most impressive is this. That's amazing.
No restriction.
No restrictions, no cable. I can't even hear a cable moving in there.
No, there's no half in, half out system. So we run the rear brake hose at the down tube. It's got a foam outer, so there's no foam rattling inside the frame. A little cutout at the back of the steer tube where the brake hose can run through, then straight up and out. Then with the front brake hose, very similarly, so they both come out the back here through the fork expander. So it's a round steer tube, it's not a D shape. So both brake hoses are coming up through the fork expander. And then we can create a nice little curve here for the brake hose to run through without it being kinked, and then running out left and right.
I mean, it looks so clean. So both cables run internally to the steerer, fantastic, and then out, so you get this lovely clean design. Love the fact that everything's black bolts. You've even filled in the gap here at the back. I think that make a lot of people very happy. It's that level of attention to detail. One other detail I did like, you've actually included some protection as well for when you're taking your wheels in and out of the frame, avoiding that scratching your lovely paintwork. And it included, what are they, stainless steel?
They're a little stainless steel scratch guard that's just bonded to a very small insert inside the frame. So it's nice and flush. So when you're putting the wheel in, the rotor's not catching the frame, both on the front and the back.
And the interesting thing about that is you can't just do that as a sticker. You've actually had to design in a recess for that actually to exist, because otherwise you wouldn't have the clearance. So it's thinking about that part of the design. It's not just an afterthought, is it?
No.
You really have thought about it. Is there anything we're missing on this?
I mean, the whole idea where we position the bike is kind of fast performant, but it will also do endurance bike packing. You can load it to the gunnels, tail fin rack, loads of bike packing kit. We've got a number of ambassadors that are riding long distance, but it's fast performance. We want to keep the main frame nice and stiff. 1x again increases that lateral stiffness at the bottom bracket area quite considerably. The tyre is going to take a lot of the high frequency vibration out, running about 35 psi or so on a 50mm tyre. And then we've engineered the stays with a very, very slight curve, flat profile. And we know the radius here, so when you're getting a load at this end and at this end, it knows where to flex, it knows where to bend.
Excellent, that's very clever. And it just looks, what I really like about them, they just look classic bike. They doesn't look like over-engineered. You still managed to maintain that classic bicycle look. Yeah, well done. Thanks for showing us around. So it's nice to see Shard here at the show. We saw these back at the Bespoke show as well. Now this really caught my eye. They always do custom geometry and custom paintwork, but here they've actually custom painted that Cane Creek fork that we showed you at Core Bike as well. That looks really, really smart. But these guys are really into their belt drives. This has a roll-off hub and a belt drive system, super durable. What's really caught my eye though is the e-bike system they've got as well. So what Shand have been doing is building in this e-bike system here, and it's super convenient because you can take the motor off and switch it between. Essentially it works off this disc rotor here, and you have these two little pins located and another mounted onto their chainstay here. So when you line these up, and then this just clips up here, and that's it. So you can take this motor off, switch it to another bike, or go old school and actually pedal your bike. I found the Bikonic stand. I'm here with Tony, the inventor. Tony, talk us through what looks to be a very simple stand. What have you done that's different?
Well, you're right, it is a very simple stand, but what we've done is try to provide some assist for the user, especially when you're dealing with big e-bikes that weigh anything up to 30 or more kilos, and it sort of assists to get it off the ground.
So it's not electrical, it's mechanical, so no need to plug it in, anything like that, but it's enough to hoist a big heavy e-bike off the ground.
Yeah, that's right.
Perfect, go on, show us how it works.
All right, so it's a gas spring, that's the vertical piece down the middle. So the idea is you load the bike in with the wheels on the ground, that's the key thing. So you don't do any lifting at all. The clamp is pretty standard, same as any other clamp.
Love this design though, that's really clever. And I love this big wedge of rubber as well.
That's right, which is replaceable.
Yeah.
In fact, it's all replaceable, it's all completely rebuildable. But we're going for like an old school engineering feel here. It's, robust and
it looks
long
solid.
lasting. But the key difference, I guess, is the gas spring does the assist for you. So it brings it up to working height. This bike weighs 21 kilos.
And you're lifting that like it's a lightweight road bike.
And you can see I can hold it with one hand here until I'm ready to go. Clamp it into the point wherever I want it. It's the usual kind of full rotation.
Yeah.
One of the things we've incorporated into the rotation is a bolt mechanism, so it locks
it at base, so you're not going to get it sliding under the weight of a bike.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
I mean, we get criticised in our workshop. We've got those big Unior stands ones at £3,500, completely unusable for the home mechanic, car park mechanic. So this comes in at how much?
So this is 600 plus VAT.
Okay, so like a park tool stand and a bit.
It's the top end of a manual stand, I guess, but it's got the added benefit of the lift.
But you can have this in your garage, you can have this in the back of a van, car park mechanics, mobile mechanics.
Exactly.
I think it's great.
It weighs about 14 kilos, so it's very easy to move around. It does fold up, but I don't even do that. I just move it around with the feet down.
Nice one. And I've got to say, funny little story about entrepreneurship. This is a working prototype, and Tony was dead keen to tell me that most of the parts to make it a fully working prototype are in Heathrow, which is currently on fire.
So we were preparing for the show and Heathrow caught fire with half of our parts stranded there. So this one is a little bit of a Frankenstand. It works.
Tony, you're here. Congratulations. Well done. I hope it takes off for you. Thank you for your time.
Great
Cheers.
Cheers.
So far, the show hasn't been as bad as I first thought. When we first walked into the show, I thought, my God, what have we walked into? This place looks dead and empty. Definitely hasn't got the big appeal. It hasn't got any big talkers here. It hasn't got any sort of big main event to bring you to the show. There's also no big brands here to really look at. What there are is an awful lot of small entrepreneurial businesses which are actually quite interesting. Hopefully we've featured a few of them on the channel. I don't think I would come here. It's not like the Roulette show in London where you go to hear from all those famous athletes, and seeing the bikes is almost a byproduct, something you sort of travel past to get to the main event. This event really needs a main event. I think it's going to succeed. Would I recommend it for next year? I don't know. Keep an eye on the lineup. So we're here at Cycletrac, looking at this beautiful Ducati, but it's a great mountain bike, but we're here about the security to stop this beautiful machine getting stolen. Can you give us a bit of information about what you do, Bill?
So, as a company, we started 15 years ago.
Yeah.
We specialise in motorbikes since we got a Bill Superleggero on the
beast.
stand.
Yeah.
So we specialise with that, and the model we have works. So we thought they wouldn't bring it into the e-bike market.
Okay.
So it's a unit that gets fitted via a dealer, just like yourself. Once it's fitted, from the customer's point of view, they have access to a map. Via an app, so they can see where their own bike is, they can see journeys. But in the event of a theft, that's where it takes over.
Yeah. So this is a super secret thing that we're not allowed to show on camera, that you cannot see, keeping security super high, that gets installed on your e-bike, and it is e-bike specific, that then sends a signal out to an app and to a monitoring.
Correct.
Yeah.
The trouble is, when you look at security, in the publication, a magazine, they'll show you a bar ring, they'll show you a light, it's all GPS trackers. Great, so I'm a thief, well, I know what to look for, so I'll take them off.
Yeah.
Which is why we've gone down the road of keeping it discreet.
And the stand does not give anything away here. You've got to like have a conversation to work out what it is you're doing. I love that, like really thinking it through from the start. Yeah.
So ultimately, so if the bike's moved for more than 20 seconds without it being disarmed, that's when the owner gets a telephone call, a text, email, and a push notification. If it's a false alarm, it just gets reset.
Yeah.
Or in the event of a theft, the customer calls 999, get a crime number. We have a 24/7 monitoring centre, and they pick up and do everything on behalf of the customer.
Yeah, and you've got quite a big background, from what I understand, in motorbiking, agricultural as well, of recovery. So tell us what your recovery rate is, because it's impressive.
So in 15 years, we've not dropped below 92%.
That's incredible, of you being involved with lots of different ways of recovering that bike.
It's the multi-layer that we offer. So GPS is great. There's so many GPS products on the market. So GPS gives you accuracy of about 3 to 5 meters. In addition to that, we also offer RF, which is radio frequency. In English, if a bike's stolen and it ends up, for example, with Trader garages, we can get it down to 1 garage, down to 1 meter.
So you can find this in someone's shed.
We've actually found one of those, or very similar, in the second floor flat.
That's pretty impressive, and you got it recovered. Second floor flat, a motorbike, I'd love to see how that worked out. Brilliant, that's super interesting. It's about £250 to install, plus fitting from a local bike shop. We're in conversation. I think we're going to offer that as part of our servicing. I think it's a great idea. Thanks, Bill.
Thank you very much.
Back at Atherton's Bikes, we saw these guys at the Bespoke show with their carbon version. Since then, they famously launched their aluminium version, come down in price massively, 2,800 quid for a frame set. You get an awful lot of frame for your money. What I like, they're still keeping with that tube and lug design. This is now all aluminium. And this little bizarre top cap, I asked about this, and this is a byproduct. So rather than 3D printing this like they do on the carbon versions out of titanium, this is now machined. So this is so that the tool can go in there and machine it all out. Now, it also makes it really convenient for cable routing. Apparently, they're also designing some sort of tool that will fit in there as well, which would be a nice little touch. Now, the one thing that's not clear from all the pictures, that behind all of this is actually all CNC'd machined out. So this isn't actually a box section, this is more like an L section here. So the cables run behind here, and the same under here. If you run your fingers up, you can feel all that machining being done by the CNC. Looks like box section, it's actually pretty much all hollowed out. They reckon about 800 grams heavier than the carbon version, and that's big price saving. Hope you guys enjoyed that. It wasn't that bad after all. There's actually quite a few interesting smaller exhibitors that might just get swallowed up in a show where there's loads of big guys there. The show really does need a reason for you to come, like whole headline of speakers or events or something, because current format is not all that exciting. We've had a good time because we're making this video, and hope you enjoyed watching it. But yeah, hopefully the National Cycling Show can be a bit of a bigger thing. Actually is. Meanwhile, the outdoor show that was next door, that was buzzing, really, really busy, loads of really cool stuff going on there. So see what happens. Right, that's all for us. Back on the M6, back up north, where we belong. Hope you liked this video. If you did, please think about liking and subscribing. I'll see you in the next one real soon. Cheers.